Conference Finals, the NBA playoffs on TNT. The Los Angeles Lakers losing Game 1, 112-77. A 35-point loss.
At 6'1" from Arkansas, Little Rock, Derek Victor. And a guard, number 6 at 6'6" from Temple, Eddie Jones. The Lakers are coached by Del Harris. And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Pistol, and the Jazz win their first ever Midwest Division title. Unbelievable.
Magic County alley, goes to Green, block by Eaton, picks up on Magic, block by Eaton. Oh baby, big mark everywhere.
He did it! A new NBA assist-king.
Congratulations, Paul Malone, 1996-97 NBA Most Valuable Player.
John Stockton sends the Utah Jazz to the NBA Finals.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, introducing our Utah Jazz. Starting forward, number 32 at 6'9", from Louisiana Tech, the mailman, Karl Malone. Starting forward, number 3 at 6'7", from Long Beach State, Brian Russell. Starting center, number 44 at 6'11", from UTEP, on the guard line, number 12 at 6'1" from Gonzaga, John Stockton. And a guard, number 14 at 6'4" from Iowa State, Jeff Hornacek.
So Jerry Sloan has a one-game-to-none lead in the best-of-7 Western Conference Final. They try to take it 2 games tonight. Utah filled to capacity tonight, Game 2. Lakers and the Utah Jazz. Here are 2 teams that played each other 4 times in the regular year, with Los Angeles enjoying some pretty good success. But in Game 1, it was all Utah.
Oh, Utah in the beginning of this game is really important. Del Harris said the reason they struggled mightily on defense is because their offense struggled and it kind of sapped the power out of them. He said they really need to get off early offensively.
So Fisher works on Stockton as Eddie Jones takes himself off the floor. Fisher from Fox for 2. Lakers on top.
Well, already they're cheering. You know, they made their first shot. They have to be happy.
They missed 11 of their first 12 shots on Saturday. It's already an improvement. Karl Malone ties the game at 2.
Well, I tell you, it took Karl Malone some time to really get into his playoff flow, but he's in it now. And in the last 3 games, he has just been terrific.
He shot 44%, Malone has, in the playoffs this year. Fox into O'Neal against Foster. Shaq with an easy spin move for 2.
You can see the difference. In Game 1, he waited. He caught the pass and waited to see where the trap was coming from. Right there, he grabbed the ball and he went. I told you, he's going right away.
He said he was a little tentative.
Yeah.
That time showing the patience that the Lakers feel they need. Lakers on top by 2. Malone and a foul inside on Utah.
Well, 2 adjustments already in the game. You can look at Shaq on the post here. First, look where Shaq catches the ball. He said that he needed to establish better position. That's great position.
Stockton picks up the foul. Here comes Rick Fox driving on Russell. Leaning into Stockton. Rebound by Foster. Here comes Russell. Russell the other way. Off to Malone. Robert Horry picks up the foul.
Well, this is the other thing we were talking about. Watch John Stockton right here fight and fight. This is what Utah was allowed to do in Game 1. The Lakers do not want that to happen now. They want to get into Stockton's way offensively and defensively. They want to put a body on him.
Here's Karl Malone, who is a rookie in the NBA, began shooting 44% from the free throw line. Now he's up to 77%, a huge difference.
Yeah, and Gary Sloan said, I'd love to take the credit, but I can't. He said, I simply said, Karl, if you want to be a better player, you have to make free throws. And it was Karl Malone who locked himself in the gym and did the work.
And Shaq probably needs to do the same thing for Los Angeles.
I think he's doing that. You can see him improving, not a lot, but he is improving.
What Larry Bird say in playoff time, it's free throws and defense that make the difference.
Well, if that's true, then you know Shaq has the defense.
Yeah. I guess the free throw part, he's in good shape. So Malone goes 1 of 2, 4-3 Lakers. Fisher, known for his defense, hits his second shot from outside. He is 2 of 2.
Well, you can see the guards on the Lakers, they want to be more aggressive. They want to attack the basket. And, quite simply, they just want to make shots.
Hornacek on Jones, and Jones, a defensive specialist, a ruthless defensive player, picks up a foul as he lunges inside for Del Harris's Los Angeles Lakers.
He's quietly becoming one of the better defenders in this league. Now, that last play was a silly foul, and he can't afford to get in foul trouble. He's another guy they need to get off early.
He can set a tempo for the team. Hornacek with 2 minutes gone here in the first quarter. Malone on O'Neal, and Malone lunging inside the miss. Horry was there. The second foul called on Robert Horry. And Del Harris may have to go to his bench, and he does.
Well, already you can see what the Jazz are doing. Right here, they're putting the ball on the floor. You can see the pressure. Eddie Jones is really, they're doing differently what they didn't do in game one. But right here, that's a problem for Shaq to guard Karl Malone that far away from the bucket. Del Harris said it's tough for our big guys to come that far away from the bucket. They're used to defending the bucket. The Jazz have guys who can shoot at the power forward spot and at the center spot.
So Corey Blount comes in. He was the X factor, that intangible factor against Seattle. Here's Malone with his second trip already to the line tonight with just a little over 2 minutes gone, and nobody is to the free throw line more than Karl Malone.
Well, he has that body, one. He has a great jump shot, two, and he can put the ball on the floor, three. That means you have lots of problems.
A lot of problems. He's got that feel for the things you can't teach, but obviously 13 years in the league, it's going to come to you.
Yeah, exactly. I would say in 13 years from now, we'll be saying the same things about Shaq, maybe more so.
And Kobe Bryant, yes, right on down the list. Malone has accounted for all 5 Utah points. Lakers on top by 1. Fisher has gone 2 of 2. Maneuvering inside. Jones gets by Hornacek. He launches. And the rebound inside is snared by Russell. Here comes Stockton. Off to Foster. Get out of the way when Foster's right.
See, I just think that is a problem for the Lakers. Greg Foster can really run the floor, and there's no way that Shaq can beat Greg Foster down the floor. The Jazz know that, and they're looking for him.
Utah has the lead. Jones lost it working into Stockton, and Utah has numbers ahead. So wide open.
There was an inch to get that ball through, and he got it through.
Utah's on top by 3. Fox to Jones. The screen by Blount. Jones to Blount. Little give and go inside and knocked away by Malone. Utah with some nice transition on this play.
Yeah, if you turn the ball over against the Lakers or against the Jazz, you're in trouble. You can see it. You get the ball in John Stockton's hands, good things will happen. And you can see Jeff Hornacek right there, just flat-footed on defense. Eddie Jones has to do a better job of that, of putting the ball on the floor, beating Hornacek off the dribble. I think he can do it.
Corey Blount, 57% from the free throw line in the playoffs. He has taken time effectively away from Eldon Campbell because of his play in that Seattle series.
Well, I think he plays off Shaquille O'Neal a little bit better. He understands his role. I don't know if Eldon Campbell does. Already 5-0 in the fast break points. Now, Jerry Sloan said, we want to run. We just don't want the Lakers to run.
Hornacek picked up by the smaller Fisher. Malone will joust now with Blount. Shot clock at 7 for Karl Malone.
I mean, what do you do?
He's got 7 of Utah's 11 points for Jerry Sloan. Fox with Russell there. Jones picked up by 35-year-old Hornacek. Double teamed O'Neal, and somehow it goes in.
Somehow it's the key in that. But again, Shaq gets great position on the post. And even if the Jazz wanted to help, they couldn't. You let Shaquille O'Neal get position like that, you're in trouble.
2-point game. Stockton picked up by Jones. And here's Malone. And a shove and a foul. And it's called inside on Eddie Jones, who picks up his second foul.
I want you to watch John Stockton. They are going to help. But when Shaq gets it that deep, there's no help that will save you. He's going to get to the bucket, and he did.
Jones has 2, and Robert Horry is on the bench with 2. And here comes Kobe Bryant joining Blount, Fisher, O'Neal, and Fox.
And that's big for 2 reasons. 1, it didn't allow Eddie Jones to establish himself offensively. And 2, it takes a great defender off the floor. That one silly foul early in the game came back to haunt him.
Well, the precise offense of Utah working well. Malone with a rare miss. Rebound by Fox. They'll push it the other way. Jazz back good on defense, and outside to Bryant. He'll dazzle you with his moves. 7.5 to play in the first quarter.
You can see Del Harris right when Kobe Bryant caught the ball, swing the ball. He wants him to get the ball right back to Shaq.
Malone lunges and knocks the ball away, and the shot clock has whittled its way to 4.
Well, listen, if you're going to throw the ball to Shaq, you have to allow the cutters to clear through. Tonight, 2 quick times he got it and went right away.
Fisher has hit his first 2, but he misses that 3. There was just 4 seconds left on the shot clock. We're back with Utah on top by 2. They've got Russell, Hornacek, Foster, Malone, Stockton into Russell. Picked up. Nice lasso inside by Corey Blount.
You know, as well as the Jazz are playing right now, they're only up 2 points. The Lakers not playing that great. And now if Shaq scores there, it could be a tie score. So they're happy right now. And Shaq's doing exactly what Del Harris wanted him to do. He's establishing great post position.
And everyone's worried about Shaq, but they forgot about Blount, who ties the game at 11.
Well, that's the effect of Shaquille O'Neal.
His effects will ripple and ripple and ripple. Inside, it's Malone. Outside, Hornacek for 2. Rebound by Blount. Quick outlet caught by Fox. Russell's in front of him. 6.5 in the first quarter. And a quick foul called on Brian Russell, who's been a wonderful factor in the playoffs last year, and of course this year as we check in with Reggie Theus.
All right, Kevin, in that last timeout, Del Harris was talking about we have to reverse the ball into Shaq. We got to get him into the offense. So much so, they missed a great opportunity with Fox with a mismatch on Hornacek down in the low post, but Shaq is the man. They want him to have the ball. Guys?
All right, Reg, Bryant twirling inside for 2, and he had a couple guys draped on both shoulders.
Well, he's the one guy who actually played well in game 1. He will be effective in this series because if it comes down to half-court offense, he's one of those guys that can create his own shot. Shaq's the other guy.
And he's off the bench, taking the place of Eddie Jones with 2. Malone inside, battling with Blount.
Well, again, we're talking about position. Karl Malone got great position. And
technical foul.
See, I don't like that. You know, Karl Malone looked at Billy O's, and he basically pointed, I'm getting hit on the elbow. I don't understand why the quick tap.
So here's Rick Fox at the free throw line. In the playoffs, about 90% from the stripe, and he shows why with that hit right there, and Los Angeles on top by a point.
And you can see right there, Hornacek's going to have a heck of a time guarding Kobe Bryant off the dribble. As a matter of fact, most people will.
Just beyond the halfway point of this first quarter, Lakers on top by 1. The technical on Malone. Here comes Fisher. LA got 2 technicals on Saturday. Fisher into O'Neal. Oh, he got high.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to Del Harris this afternoon, and he was saying, Doc, if we can get Shaquille O'Neal under the basket and throw it up, who can out-jump him? And that's exactly what happened right there.
Size does matter.
Size matters.
5.5 to play in the first quarter. Good screen by Foster. And there's a whistle and there's a foul. And it's called on Foster. We thought it was a great pick. He was a little bit too physical.
I mean, you're talking about the easiest lob in the NBA. When I played, I had Dominique Wilkins. You can throw it anywhere. Same thing with Shaq. Just throw the ball up. He will be the only guy who gets the ball.
5:20 in the first. Lakers by 3. Fisher has been the offensive plug so far for Los Angeles. Well, he's got 6 with that drive right there.
Exactly. What the Lakers are doing, they're taking the Jazz players off the dribble. They're not standing around waiting for something to happen. They're being aggressive. That's exactly what Del Harris wanted them to do.
And here's Fisher. who played in back of Van Exel, and then Van Exel got injured, out 11 games. They put Fisher in, a better defensive player. Van Exel comes back, but Van Exel says, leave Fisher in there. I like coming off the bench better.
Yeah, he does. He's like the spark plug. You know, he's had the bad knee. He feels having less minutes has helped his play, and he's right.
And the Lakers with the steal. Fox. Fisher wide open to three. Rebound by Hornacek. The Lakers get back on defense. Malone is off the side. Isley now in at point, taking the place of Stockton.
Had a great game one.
Malone down and whacked into by Fisher, who picks up the foul.
Well, already, you know, in game one, you saw only Lakers on the floor. Tonight already, there's been a lot of Jazz getting up off the floor. And you can see the lob here. Look at the position. And again, Rick Fox guarding Karl Malone is a little tough.
So here's last year's MVP and Karl Malone. By the way, Michael Jordan winning the MVP today. Not much of a surprise there.
No.
Although Malone had a better season this year than last year when he won the MVP.
And I still think, and I said it last year, I think Karl Malone is clearly the second best player in the NBA. But as long as Michael Jordan is playing basketball, I think he deserves the MVP.
Here's the 13th pick of the 1985 draft. Guys like Benoit Benjamin, John Concat, Joe Klein, Keith Lee, all picked ahead of Karl Malone.
When you look at a bunch of the Jazz players, and Scott Layton is one of the best kept secrets in the NBA.
He's the general manager, and his dad was Frank Layton, who coached this team and got them really out of the rack and off to the races many times, and then he gave way to his assistant, Jerry Sloan. Nice defense by Isley. Here comes Utah.
Well, there's a case where Laker guards getting a little bit too aggressive. They have to keep milking Shaquille O'Neal. Exactly what Reggie Theus said. Go to Shaq. I guarantee you this will be a play where Shaq gets it somewhere.
Utah's backcourt scoreless so far. Everything has come from Los Angeles' backcourt tandem. Fisher in particular finds O'Neal riding rough terrain and belts into Russell.
Kevin, the position, the place where Shaq, 4 times now, he has caught the ball right under the basket. What they're saying is if Greg Foster, a smaller guy, is going to guard Shaquille O'Neal, they're going to throw the ball up and get it.
Foster just picked up the second Utah technical foul. He leaves, and Greg Ostertag will take his place.
Well, already 2 technical fouls on the Jazz players. Now who's the young team?
Yeah. So Foster, who thrives on emotion and says his flamboyance cannot be snuffed out. Right there, maybe a little bit too flamboyant. Ostertag comes in his place.
The bad part about getting the early technical, as a player, I had a temper myself. I questioned every call. But if you got one in the first quarter, you had to watch yourself for the rest of the game. And sometimes you were a little bit less aggressive because you couldn't go after people. You didn't want to go after the refs, obviously.
Here's Russell into Malone, up high for Ostertag, up and down and on his pogo stick, and Pump was there along with Bryant. Here comes Fisher the other way. They'll work on Isley, into Shaq, muscling on Ostertag. Rebound inside, claimed by Malone.
Well, Ostertag's a little bigger. You see his position is not as good as when Foster was in the game.
Under 4 to play here in the first quarter. Isley, Russell, Malone, Ostertag, Hornacek, the Utah 5. A little pass by Malone, whistles out of bounds.
Now see, this is the difference with a bigger center. Watch Greg Ostertag fighting for position, and that extra 50 pounds helps when you're guarding a guy like Shaquille O'Neal.
22-16 Los Angeles. Fox for 3. He drills it home.
Well, they're just firing. Their confidence is sky high. And, sometimes that's good when you lose by 30 points because you chalk that up to a bad night.
Lakers by 9, and this is their biggest lead tonight. Isley on the perimeter. They had the hint of a double team, and he finally whistles it inside. It was intended for Ostertag, the 5th Utah turnover. Here comes Fisher. Off to Fox. And Bryant and Plum got their signals crossed, and that ball's thrown out of bounds.
Yeah, that was like playing doubles tennis where you throw the ball right in between. Both guys thought the other guy was going to catch the basketball.
You got it. Well, he's only got 2 turnovers. No, I got it. Well, pop flying baseball, right?
I just couldn't catch a baseball regardless, so.
Russell for 2.
Boy, he struggled early part of this season, but since All-Star break, Brian Russell has been phenomenal.
Well, he took the place of Adam Keefe.
Yeah.
You know, Keefe was starting, Russell came in, and Russell stretches that defense a bit because he can hit the three.
He can hit the three, and he also can take people off the dribble.
Shaq inside, kisses it home.
And Shaq's back to his old tricks. Again, George Karl was at home thinking, I've seen this before.
He said, George Karl, the Sonics said he's the single most difficult player. Van Exel comes off the bench, makes the steal. Bryant inside, look at him fly, but so too did Ostertag. Body screwed on the floor and a foul called on Rick Fox.
Great hustle by Ostertag, and those are the little things they need him to do. They don't want him, if he scores, so what? But they need him to hustle, block shots, put a body on Shaq, and just do things like that.
It's a different game for the Los Angeles.
You look at the Lakers, and you take out Eddie Jones and you put in Corey Bryant, you take out Derek Fisher, you put in Nick Van Exel. You are a deep basketball team when you can do that.
Now Van Exel runs things. O'Neal's on the bench. Blount, Bryant, Fox remains in. Campbell in there. Van Exel with a miss. Inside, Bryant tried to save it. Out of bounds off Utah. The Lakers to inbound.
Well, first play of the game, Derek Fisher comes off pick and roll, has a jump shot. First play of the game for Nick Van Exel, comes off a pick and roll, has a jump shot. You can see the plan. They want their guards to be more aggressive, attack the basket.
Shaq on the bench. Resting right now with 2 minutes to play here in the first quarter. Bryant on Hornacek. Campbell hands to Kobe Bryant, who now begins 2 of 2 with a nice display. He had 16 in game 1.
16, didn't really shoot the ball well, but what he showed in game 1 is that he could get to the basket.
Here comes Isley, spinning on Van Exel. Rejected by Campbell, and out of bounds it goes. And off Los Angeles with 10 seconds on the shot clock.
Well, this is what they need Elton Campbell to do. When Shaq's out of the game, they tell Elton Campbell, be like Shaq.
Yeah.
That's a good example.
Play
right
tennis.
there.
Play
Exactly.
tennis. Swatted back inside. Russell tried to get athletic.
Yeah, that was the
shot.
problem. He tried to get athletic. All he had to do there was lay it in. I think he was trying to draw the foul and the bucket, and instead he missed the bucket. He did get the foul. So many players do that. When they think they have a guy that can draw a foul, they forget to make the bucket at times.
Well, Turner Sports continues to bring you great coverage of the NBA playoffs tomorrow night right here on TNT. Game 2, 8 o'clock, the Pacers and the Chicago Bulls. And then Friday, it's game 3 of this series with Utah traveling for their first game in Los Angeles. And half-hour pre-games with Ernie Johnson, Kenny the Jet Smith, and others will precede each of those games.
How about Scottie Pippen guarding Mark Jackson?
Jackson didn't know what to do.
7 turnovers. Unbelievable.
At 6'7" against 6'2", that makes a difference. Here comes Van Exel. They need him to get off. He makes a move with every part of his body. He's so loose and limber. And outside to John Barry, who comes in surprisingly.
Well, more shooting. They know John Barry can shoot the basketball.
Bryant with an acrobatic move, his own rebound, and a fresh 24. So very little size and 3 guards basically for Los Angeles, although they're playing Bryant at the small forward.
And that was a desperation rebound from Bryant because the shot was so awful. He knew he had to get it back.
Van Exel tried to bullet a pass, and it ricochets off the palm of Malone. Shot clock at 9, a minute to play here in the first quarter.
You know, you look at Kobe Bryant, and obviously he can get to the bucket, but when you're throwing shots up like that, you better get the rebound.
Cover yourself, right?
Yes.
Cover yourself. Here comes Campbell, and he travels on the block into Ostertag, who's been effective in altering shots for Utah.
Yeah, and that was a clear travel. Unless you can establish 2 or 3 pivot feet, then it was not travel. Otherwise, clear travel.
So here is his Lakers. Have turned it over 3 times. Lakers on top by 8. Russell on Bryant.
See, I like what Jerry Sloan is doing. If Bryant's going to beat our players off the dribble, we're going to take him down with his 19-year-old body on the post and try to post him up. That's smart.
Was illegal defense called on Los Angeles. 48 seconds to play. That's the first illegal defense of the game. 29-21, Los Angeles on top. They're shooting 52%. Utah 56%. Russell inside over Bryant. Rebound Russell. Tapped it. Blunt cleans it up. Bryant will take it the other way.
Well, you know the difference is when you do put Brian Russell down there, he's not used to getting post-up plays. So, yeah, you do have an advantage, but it takes you out of your normal offense. If I'm the Lakers, I'm happy about that.
Rotating to Bryant, who crumbles under the defensive pressure of Russell. They call him for a travel. Another Del Harris Laker turnover. And Utah will get the final 24 seconds with which to work.
You know, talking to Del Harris this afternoon, he said Kobe Bryant is so talented. He wants to be good so bad, but he pushed so much pressure on himself, feels that every time he touches the ball, he has to do something with it.
Shot clock, game clock, basically the same. Isley tries to work them both. Blunt comes up on him. Ostertag up top. There's Malone back in. Hornacek for three. 2 seconds left. Bryant, good if it goes. And Utah comes back. They trailed by 9, but at the end of 1, and Shaquille O'Neal made his presence felt. Utah here in Salt Lake and the NBA playoffs on TNT from the Delta Center. Game 2 Western Conference Final. It's the Lakers on top 29-24 at the end of 1 with Doc Rivers and Reggie Theus, Kevin Harlan. A dramatic difference in the Lakers' first quarter Saturday in what they accomplished, especially O'Neal, the banner headline in his first quarter tonight.
Well, he was just aggressive. I mean, right when he caught the ball, Kevin, you can see he was going straight to the bucket. And I think what you want to look at game 1, game 2 tonight, look at the turnovers.
He had 7 in game 1 total, 2 in that first quarter.
And 6 in the first half.
So we begin the second quarter. Isley, Chris Morrison, he was deadly in that first game. Isley was as well. Shandon Anderson is in. Malone and Ostertag round out the 5 for the Jazz. 8 to shoot. Isley. Malone over Shaq for 2. And Shaquille got out a little bit high and got it.
And a little late.
And a little bit late. High and late is nowhere to go, and let's send it over to Reggie Theus.
Well, Kevin, in that timeout, Jerry Sloan said to quit whining to the referees. They have already decided before this game started that they were going to get fouls on us. But listen, go out and put a body on somebody, make them call the game the way we want it to be called. Guys?
That's a good call, Reggie. I agree 100% with Jerry Sloan. They are more concerned about the officials than being more aggressive to the Lakers.
There's no question, Doc. And the Lakers are putting it on. They started with the trap, and they've played a different game tonight. Really turned this game emotionally around for themselves so far, even though they're losing.
So Russell on the bench. Anderson in. Malone fends on the second free throw. It's a 4-point Utah deficit. We're just seconds into the second quarter. Van Exel works on Isley. Jones back in, 2 quick fouls. Here comes Shaq. Ostertag is there. Shaq with some patience. Little 2-man game with Fox. Nice myriad of moves by Shaq, and it doesn't go in. Robert Horry is back in, slithering inside. He can't get it to go. Horry is down. Here comes Utah with a 3, making a 4 on 3. Morris for 3. And a rebound inside, claimed by Malone. Off to Anderson. Morris. A lot of congestion inside the lane. And a foul finally assessed inside.
Well, obviously, the Jazz players listened very well to Jerry Sloan because you can see the effort in the last 3 or 4 times down on that play. And Robert Horry is in pain. I don't know what happened, but he is in a little pain right now.
So here's Chris Morris at the free throw. It looked like he may have come down bad on his ankle. Morris has played with New Jersey and Utah. This is his 4th season with the Jazz. And there goes Horry, who shot over 60% in the Seattle series and has truly been one of the key ingredients to Los Angeles' success.
And they really need his athleticism. I thought he was really effective in the Seattle series, running around, dunking. But with his quickness, he causes so many problems.
So now some foul problems creeping up on Los Angeles. 4 Lakers starters with 2 fouls each.
But they don't mind that. What that tells them is that they're being more aggressive. Obviously, they don't want to get in foul trouble.
Van Exel, the quick release, and he pops it in. Lakers on top, 31-26.
You know, Nick Van Exel told me this morning, he said, Doc, I'm not missing those wide-open shots tonight.
He didn't make?
No.
Isley for 3. Rebound by Blount. And he's got 6 rebounds coming off the LA bench. Van Exel the other way. Shaq with some interference. Fox is at 1-3. He can't knock that one in. Isley with the rebound.
Yeah, I guarantee you, Dale Harris does not want to get this into a three-point shooting contest.
Charge on Isley.
See, now that was a test for Jerry Sloan right there because he wanted to go off. But he just gave a message that players stop complaining. You can watch it right here. And Nick Van Exel was moving on that. That was not a very good call. Jerry Sloan looked up to the sky and said, I can't say anything right now.
Van Exel again in on Isley and up and over for two. And Nick the Quick is knocked in two, and the Lakers on top by 7.
But again, Nick Van Exel, Derek Fisher being aggressive offensively, and you really using the dribble, taking guys off the dribble.
Shot clock at 10 into Antoine Carr. One is there. Flash of the double from Van Exel, and Carr with the miss, Blount with the rebound, but threw it away. Isley from 3. Out of bounds over the backboard, not a play.
See, what happened in game 1 to the Lakers right now is happening in game.
Contributors, Anderson, Isley, Carr, and Morris. Tonight, Los Angeles' bench has been the story.
Yeah, 1 point from the Jazz bench so far. And you know what's interesting is you look at Chris Moore as a guy who doesn't play much, and now he's in the game playing.
Shaq with a nimble move for 2, and the Lakers on top, 35-26.
See how quick that was? He is not waiting. You know what he's going to do? If he keeps going this quickly, he's going to force Utah to trap early, and then the Lakers can get their three-point shooters off.
Here comes Van Exel, and he'll pop on the fly. Rebound by Morris. Los Angeles has watched Utah go 0 of 7 from the field in the second quarter. Thus, the Lakers by 9.
And that's why the Lakers are getting out into the open court. You know, we talked about them not able to run in game 1. Well, it's tough to run when you're taking the ball from out of the basket every single time. Tonight, they're getting stops so they can run the basketball.
Game 2's traditionally harder on the home team or the road team in the playoff series?
I think there's always more pressure on the home team because they want to keep serve. Karl Malone was talking about it in the last series. You don't understand how much pressure it is. He loved playing on the road, and I think right now Utah is thinking that.
Nice knock away by Ostertag. The Shaq was there, Stockton the other way. Morris will try to finish. Tapped up and in, and off by Carr, and then Anderson will clean it up. The other way.
Oh, you gotta love it. You gotta love it. First, I was going to get on Shaq for not coming down court, but the Lakers knew exactly what they were doing. They conceded the basket and went right back at him. That's something they didn't do in the first game. They hung their heads when the Jazz scored. Tonight, they're attacking.
Great hustle by Ostertag. Let's send it over to Reggie Theus.
Hey, guys, after Robert Horry's last shot attempt, he came down and jammed his hip. The trainer, Gary Vitti, said that it's just a bruise. Robert is back on the bench and expected to play.
And they need Horry. Here's the play.
Yeah, you can see right when he came down, you can see the jolt. You know, people don't know that's 220 pounds, or I hope he weighs more than that, actually, Kevin, coming straight down.
235.
Yes, see, I knew it. You know, that's a lot of torque.
Yeah, a lot of torque. 8 minutes to play in the first half. Lakers on top by 8. Here's Stockton inside, scooping it up and down.
See, I think what the Lakers are going to try to do is make John Stockton a scorer instead of a passer.
And they've got to. Here comes Shaquille. And he'll plow into Ostertag. Blount got a hand on it, but Stockton claims it, and here comes Utah. Stockton on the fly for 3.
There was no doubt. There was no doubt he was going to take that shot.
Utah has climbed back to within 3 points. Jones and Anderson. Inside, Fox finds the double team. Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, my goodness.
What a play. He had 2 right in his face, Carr and Ostertag, and it was as if they weren't even there.
Well, look at this. I mean, Jerry Sloan says stay between the man and the basket, where Ostertag really did. It didn't matter. Shaq just went up and dunked it anyway. Wow.
That rim is still rocking. And he completes the three-point play, and Utah down by 6 again. Morris the other way, floating on Fox. Into Carr, ball is knocked away, and another Utah turnover. They have 9 turnovers second game.
Well, Lakers favor. They very seldomly ran in game 1. They're out on the break, and even if they're not running, getting fast break points, they're getting into their offense quickly, and I think that's the difference in the game.
Blount threw it away. O'Neal cut. He thought he was going to station himself.
Well, you can see Dale Harris yelling at Rick Fox saying we need spacing. That's why Blount threw the ball away. There was nobody for him to pass the ball to.
Van Exel, Fox, O'Neal, Blount, and Jones as Anderson slips right by Jones. Jones the other way. 4-point game. Jones into 2, floating. Outside Van Exel. And Fox the 3. His second miss from downtown. Picked up by Morris. Knocked away. Good Laker defense. Van Exel the other direction.
Yeah, indecision. Chris Morris was going to pass it, decided not to, and lost the ball.
Lakers by 4, and that's the turnover story. Van Exel from 3. Count it right between the eyes, and a foul called on Utah.
Well, John Stockton is trying to read the pass and decides not to play defense on Nick Van Exel. And look at this collision. But look at the picks. The difference in this game is the Lakers are setting picks. They're being the more physical team, though Eddie Jones right now is thinking, I don't know if it's worth it right now.
Once again, the basket.
Yeah, and watch John Stockton here. If you don't pressure him, he will pick you apart.
Well, he's been doing it for so long. The all-time assist leader in NBA history. Missed free throw, and it's 42-35. Lakers by 7. They've led by 9. They've led most of the game.
See, they're going to milk Chandon Anderson right now on the post. The reason Eddie Jones has 2 fouls. So they're going to go and try to get him out of the game, and it worked. Here's the 3rd foul. You can see it. Eddie Jones is being aggressive. The Lakers like that. But with those 2 fouls, you can't afford another one. He just picked the 3rd one up.
That brings back in Kobe Bryant. This was the place, you may recall, a year ago where Bryant threw up 4 air balls in the 5th and deciding game in that second round series between these 2 teams. Yeah,
and I was talking to Mitch Kupchak before the game, and he said the kid wants to do away with those demons already. And he said the problem, he's trying to tell him you can't do them in game 1 or 2. You have to do them throughout the series. You can't get it all out. And he said in game 1 he was so aggressive, he was out of control at times.
This saw Kupchak, who's the GM under Jerry West. There's questions whether West will return after this year. Magic Johnson came out the other day, said it may be a money issue. Stockton on the fly. John Stockton has suddenly gotten hot. He has 7 points all in this second quarter.
Well, he says their team is struggling offensively, and that's the greatness of John Stockton. He's passing guys the ball, they're missing shots, so he's going to shoot the ball until guys are making shots again.
Shaq is pushed out now, and that's a good job by Carr. Shaq will try to maneuver. Back outside it goes to Van Exel. And now Shaq with the gentle fadeaway and a whistle and a foul on Carr.
Sometimes working the officials in the papers help, and it's helping right now. Shaquille O'Neal issued a warning. If they're not going to clean it up, I'm going to have to throw some elbows.
The elbows are going
and right now, he's getting some good calls. You can see, there's the push. They call the foul.
Knocked away by Anderson, retrieved by Bryant. Shot clock down to 13. O'Neal again outside his comfort zone. Carr is there. And then Carr fell off, and O'Neal travels across the lane.
And the reason O'Neal traveled is because Carr fell off. O'Neal was feeling the body and didn't feel it anymore, so he traveled.
Does center have maybe the most extrasensory perception type?
Exactly.
I mean, you're always feeling things that you can't see.
They do. That was accidental defense.
4:45 to play in the second. Lakers on top by 5. Rugged play continues. And Malone has to scrape himself off the Delta Center floor. And a foul called.
You see, the tempo was starting to slow a bit. You agree, Kevin? All of a sudden, the whistle was blowing, and, you know, guys are going to the foul line, but the play has stopped. And if you're Jerry Sloan, that's exactly what you want.
Foul is called on Blount. He's got his first. More shoving and pushing inside. This time Fox and Russell are jousting, and Fox picks up his third. And suddenly Del Harris has one headache that he didn't expect. A lot of foul trouble from his starters.
Well, he told his young players in game one, they beat us up. They were more physical. In game two, I want you to be more physical. The problem with that is you do have young players, and now they're all in foul trouble. The good thing is if you're a coach, Kevin, they listen.
Exactly. And Robert Horry, bad wheel and all. He twisted an ankle earlier in the game, back in the game for Los Angeles. And there goes Rick Fox, tagged with 3 fouls, and we're not even at halftime. So here's Russell again out of Long Beach State. Another second-round find by this franchise. 4.5 to play in the second quarter. It's a 4-point game. Here comes Van Exel. The defense of Stockton fell aside, and Van Exel wide open from 15.
Well, the Jazz are getting a bit of their own medicine. The Lakers are really taking advantage of the Utah Jazz with pick-and-roll plays.
Van Exel now, and Van Exel, a great matchup. Malone over Plum. Karl Malone. 4-point game again. Utah has hit 6 consecutive shots.
You know what I don't like about this game, and I know you have to call the game close, but Kevin, that is at least the 6th away from the ball foul that has been called in the last 5 minutes, and you don't like that. You don't mind them playing physical. I think you have to allow them to play a little bit. This is playoff basketball.
Fools with that tempo you were talking about.
Yeah, it does. And I think it hurts the Lakers more than it does the Jazz. The Jazz want to play in the half court. If you tell Jerry Sloan that you're going to play half court basketball, he'll take it against anybody.
Brown inside finds an easy path to the rack, and he's got 5 off the bench. He's got about 7 rebounds. Again, he has made a dent in this game.
He's been the surprise player for the Lakers in the playoffs thus far.
Anderson waits. Malone works on Blount. Back out Stockton. Nice move by Bryant, who committed, and that's what John Stockton will do. He'll burn you.
Well, Del Harris said we want him to be more aggressively, offensively. Unfortunately, he's making all the shots.
Stockton 4 of 5 in this quarter. Van Exel. Rebound chased by Anderson, knocked out of bounds by Van Exel. Utah's ball, 3:22 to play.
You know, we were asking Jerry Sloan this morning who the Lakers offense reminded him of, and he said of ourselves. He said they do a lot of pick and rolls just like we do, and they do a lot of cuts with their big men just like we do.
The only thing is, LA can create off the dribble, and Utah can't.
Yes.
Anderson inside, 3-second violation.
At least.
They have in 5, which brings a smile to the face of Jerry Sloan. 56 years old, as unpretentious as any coach in the NBA. He finished second in Coach of the Year balloting to Indiana's Larry Bird.
Finally, people notice him though. You know, the fact that he finished second is almost a miracle.
Oh, look out! Ride 'em, cowboy! Kobe Bryant. What a play! He's got 6, and he did that time walking the high wire.
You mean creating his own offense?
Wow.
Wow.
2:45 in the second quarter. Malone. Blount is there. Shot clock is at 8. Behind the back into Anderson, and an illegal defense. That is the second.
Well, you can see on this last play, Kevin, they just cleared this as the Laker guards are responding. They're playing good basketball themselves.
The technical is on the illegal defense. The second on LA. Stockton again. Stockton is on fire. He's got 12.
He really is, and he's going for it. This is unusual that you see John Stockton go for it this early in the game. This is something he usually waits for the third and fourth quarter to do.
Van Exel. Stockton is there. Van Exel says. Launch a 3. Rebound by O'Neal. Ostertag is there. A pirouette by Shaq, and a rebound inside, claimed eventually by Malone. And in there, Horry, who got it from Blount. Back to Horry, back to Blount in a fresh 24. Here comes Shaq.
I don't know if it wasn't a pass from Robert Horry. Either that or it was the hardest bench shot I've ever seen.
Shaq with Ostertag there. Little hook, and it's down.
So big, so soft. That touch was just terrific. Nice and soft.
Gentle shot. His game, I think even during the playoffs, has expanded to a new level.
Yeah, it really has.
Minute 30 remaining in this second quarter. Utah has hit 8 consecutive. And we'll stop there. Counted for 2. Stockton makes it work with a offensive goaltend called on Bryant.
John Stockton right now is giving Nick Van Exel fits.
1:15 to play in the second quarter. Van Exel to Shaq. Ostertag there. Anderson made double, but again they just stick with Ostertag. Shaq and a foul. He is like a runaway barge. When he gets
really
moving,
is.
you cannot stop him. Nor can you stop Malone and Stockton.
No, it's usually Stockton to Malone, but lately it's been Malone to Stockton, and Stockton is just going for it offensively. You know, he's one of those guards, and I think this is what a point guard has to do. He senses his team is struggling a little bit offensively. So right now he has become an offensive player, scoring, shooting, driving to the bucket.
50-47 Los Angeles by 3. They've led by 9. They've led most of this first half. Stockton has caught a flame here in the second quarter.
See, I think he's always hot. He just picks and chooses when he wants to use it.
Well, he's using it now.
He is.
Adam Keefe comes in for the first time with Anderson, Russell, Malone, and Stockton. Utah is shooting 53%. Russell, Horry is there. As Horry is quick with the bad hip. Shot clock at 5. Anderson to Keefe. Nice fake once, twice, and off and a foul. But he made the proper hesitation.
Well, the difference in Adam Keefe last year to this year is this year Adam Keefe knows where to get open. He finds the open spots on the floor.
His minutes are down now. 63% shooting in the playoffs against Houston, San Antonio, and now Los Angeles. And it's because Brian Russell has been blossoming and coming into full flower in this spring playoff.
Yeah, exactly. Brian Russell has picked up the play where he left off in last year's playoff.
Nike halftime report on deck. Jordan is the MVP. Latrell Sprewell, more news on him.
What?
Kevin Johnson says bye to the Suns, but not the NBA. Ernie Johnson and Kenny the Jet Smith on deck.
So KJ is not retiring. He's just going somewhere else.
Well, he carried a hefty price tag. Bryant. And it was knocked away by Shandon Anderson with 15 seconds to shoot.
But the Lakers are trying to get a quick shot up to get into the 2-for-1 situation.
They got 33 seconds with which to work. And excellent Stockton. They've been dueling the entire second quarter. The guards have controlled it. Van Exel again. Into Kobe Bryant. Acrobatic move and it won't go. Rebound by Malone. Trying for the final shot with a chance to take a lead to halftime.
Yeah, I think the Lakers would love to go into halftime with this lead. Psychologically, it would be really big for the Lakers.
Stockton. Into Malone. Blount makes the steal, but did his momentum carry him out of play? And a foul called on Blount. 3 seconds left. Malone will be at the line, and Blount has picked up his third personal.
Well, they don't mind using Blount, and if he sacrifices fouls, I don't think Dale Harris minds that. You have to go after Karl Malone, and I tell you, I don't see the foul right there.
34-year-old Karl Malone.
You know, that was, you remember Reggie Theus was talking about the breath. If you breathe on him, you get the foul. I think right now Robert Horry and Corey Blount is thinking, that's true, Reggie.
Very true. So this is the first, and looking for the tie on this. 3.3 seconds to play in the first half. Karl Malone's been at the line tonight a couple times. 5 of 9 with this 10th free throw and waiting.
He's been a hot and cold free throw shooter in the second half of this season.
Lakers lead. Blount has it. Van Exel. Desperation shot. No good if it goes. But the Lakers, who led by 9, watched that lead get chipped at by John Stockton. He was an assassin. He went 6 of 7, 14 points.
Poorly. It's that he's in foul trouble, not allowed to play.
We begin the second half from the Delta Center. Foster on top with Russell, Malone, Hornacek, and Stockton, who was great in the second quarter. Stockton, nice spin move by Russell. Stockton can't hit the reverse. Rebound by O'Neal, and here comes Derek Fisher, who was very quiet after the first quarter.
Well, he was quiet mainly because Van Exel played the brunt of the minutes, and that's how basically they've been going.
Jones with the floater and tagged by Hornacek, who picks up the foul. That's number 1 on Jeff Hornacek.
See, that's no coincidence. You come out of halftime and your first play is to Eddie Jones. That's great coaching from Dale Harris. He understands this is our second go-to guy after Shaq, and our go-to guy has been in foul trouble, a little frustrated. Instead of having him force it, let's give him a call early. I think that's really smart basketball.
So here's Eddie Jones, who was great in the middle portion of the Seattle series with an unbelievable string of 23, 29, and 32 points. He changed the series.
Yeah, it's amazing what a call from Mama will do.
Yeah, his mom wrote him and said, you got to change your whole attitude from the Portland series where he was absolutely horrible. And he blossomed in that second series with the Sonics. Malone over Shaquille O'Neal. And Karl Malone rings the bell right off the top. Malone is gone, 6 of 7 from the floor. Fisher and Stockton, Jones and Hornacek. Russell is guarding Fox. Shot clock down to 7. Shaq doubled out to Jones by Hornacek and up for 2. Stockton is there again.
Yeah, but adjustment. And now you can see on that set, the Jazz went to trap Shaq on the catch. First adjustment that Jerry Sloan has had to make.
Wonderful screen set by Malone, which offered Hornacek a wide-open shot. LA the other way.
You know, it's funny. We talked to Jerry Sloan before the game, and we asked him any adjustments. He said, no, we won the game. I'm going to wait to see what they do, and then we'll adjust.
Shaq inside. Up and over, great Foster.
You could see John Stockton was going to trap, and he looked at where Shaq had the ball and said, there's no use. He's going to score.
Shaq with 21. Lakers on top by 3 after leading by 9 in the first 10. Shot clock at 10. Fisher forces out Stockton, who regains his balance. Into Shaq. Shaq goes back, and Stockton plowing inside. Rebound by Orange.
Well, Stockton was trying to pick up a foul on Shaq.
Fisher takes it in. Malone was there. Foul called on Hornacek.
You can see at halftime the other message to Derek Fisher: do not leave John Stockton. He doesn't care about Karl Malone right now. He's looking for John Stockton. And once again, Derek Fisher. I thought that was a flop at first. It looked like. I don't know after watching it. It looked like he got pushed a little bit.
Fisher hits his first point since the first quarter. He had 7 then. Now he's got 8 total in the game. 3 assists. Starts and uses defense as his calling card. A second-year guard out of Arkansas Little Rock.
We talk about the Lakers and Derek Fisher and how many athletes they have. You know what makes them so interesting? That they can play both styles of basketball. Obviously, they want to run, but when you have Shaq on your team, you can play a half-court offense.
Foster from outside just beneath the arc, and Utah climbs to within 3 again.
Well, Karl Malone has made a jump shot, and Foster have made jump shots twice. Big guys not coming out contesting shots.
Both teams shooting about 50%. Jones will dance on Hornacek. Shot clock at 8. The fadeaway. Sweet stroke by Jones.
Yeah, I think both guards, Eddie Jones and Kobe Bryant, can score whenever they want to. I think that's a tough matchup for Jeff Hornacek.
Jones is only 1 of 4. Russell, Foster again hit from outside before. He's hit 2 in a row from outside.
Well, he knows what he can do. You don't see Greg Foster trying to catch post passes and throw hook shots.
Foster's played with Minnesota, Chicago, Washington, and now Utah. Jones, O'Neal, Foster is there. Shot clock at 3. Shaq inside. Foster goes down. There's a whistle and a foul. And it's on Foster, has some words following that to O'Neal.
Yeah, I mean, this is just tough. You know what Shaq has decided? I outweigh this guy by almost 100 pounds. There is nothing he can do. And now in game 1, he kind of bailed Foster out. He didn't go that quick, didn't go that strong. He's doing it tonight. I think that's smart. I think Shaq made the best statement of the year early in the season. They were talking to him about adding things to his game, and he said, I tried that last year, all that finesse stuff. Until somebody stops my power game, I'm going power.
And why not? No one can stop it.
Exactly.
Seattle certainly couldn't. Sabonis and Portland couldn't. And here in game 2, Utah can't.
No one can.
It's a three-point Laker lead with 8.5 to play in the third. Hornacek lost the ball. Jones was there. The pass was a little astray. And Sloan watches his 5 turn it over again. 13 turnovers. Their playoff average is 12.5.
Well, it's amazing when pressure is put on teams how they turn the ball over. No pressure put on them in game 1. They didn't turn it over.
Fisher from 3. Rebound retrieved by Stockton. We're on the move now. Here comes Utah. Stockton leads into Fisher, and there's a charge on Stockton.
Good call. Great anticipation from Derek Fisher. You watch here. He just guessed right. He was moving, but you can see the arm of John Stockton clearing out. Watch the arm. And that's why the foul was called.
Bill Oakes made the call. 3-point Laker lead. Stockton with 2 fouls. Approaching 8 minutes to play here in the third. And there's a charge on Fisher who says touche.
The king of flop. he is the best. You know, John Stockton and I have actually had arguments over who's a better flopper. I think case in point is Stockton.
Del Harris, I think, is going to get teed. Well, it's all. Terry Durham was all set to nail him.
And Jerry Sloan
said, go ahead.
What he's saying is you were going to give the guy a tech. Instead, you whispered in his ear. Now he wants Terry Durham to whisper in his ear. Tell me the same thing you told Del Harris.
8 to play in the third. Lakers by 3. Malone coughs it up, picked up by Fisher.
Boy, there's a lot of sloppy plays from the Jazz right there. Karl Malone was never looking.
The pass was bad by Fisher, out of bounds at Sales. And a Laker turnover.
And Karl Malone was never looking for the pass, so I guess you shouldn't throw the pass.
Utah has turned it over on their last 3 consecutive trips. Malone with Ori doing the swim. Russell to Stockton, shot clock showing 8. Into Foster. Fisher was on the perimeter and guarding. And a foul is called, and it's on Shaq, who is down low.
Yeah, nice move by Greg Foster. He slipped the screen, and he was going to try to get himself an easy dunk. Shaq knew he was beat. He just grabbed him.
And you feel that when he grabs you.
Oh, you feel it.
Stockton over Fisher. Stockton cannot be stopped. He's got 16 points all since the beginning of the second quarter.
Well, it used to be the pick and roll. Tonight it's the pick and go anywhere else because I'm shooting the ball.
And he is right on the money. Ori, look out for Shaq.
I love the adjustment. Every time the Lakers have been in trouble, they throw it up to the basket and say, Shaq will get it first.
Clean it up.
The key is the pass.
23 for O'Neal. Lakers by 3 again. Hornacek. Malone. Ori is on Malone. Foster will drive. Shaq closes the door. Shot clock at 6 for Karl Malone. Rebound Fisher.
But what Ori gives up in power, he gains in quickness.
Fisher into Stockton. Fisher to the rack and a charge. On Fisher again.
Now you can't play the flop game with John Stockton. He will get his body in the right position and give it up. And tonight, he's become a scorer.
Shaquille O'Neal puts an exclamation point on this one with 23. It's a new Lakers team. 2 weeks only on TNT, the best movie studio on television. 6.5 to play here in the third. Lakers by 3. Malone picked up by Fox. Shot clock at 7. Russell from 3. Rebound by Eddie Jones. Here comes Los Angeles. LA has turned it over 3 of their last 4 trips down. Approaching 6 in the third. Fisher. Rebound by Foster.
Well, you know, in the second half thus far, neither team has really gotten a flow or gotten into their offense. Both teams have come out and played much better defense.
It's Malone and Stockton with the shot clock showing 10. Stockton wiggles inside. Russell an athletic catch. Stockton. Hornacek for the top. Rebound Hornacek. Inside to Karl Malone.
Boy, I tell you, Jeff Hornacek paid for that pass. He was steamrolled by Shaquille O'Neal.
And then he got O'Neal's foot, size 21, right in the chops.
Yeah. Lots of leather.
6 to shoot. Screen by Ori. Jones is free and buries it.
Big shot. They need him to get off offensively. And, you know, I think what he's doing right now is miraculous because when you sit that much in the first half, really have no rhythm, it's tough to get going.
Hornacek. Rebound gobbled up by Ori. Lakers on top by 3 under 5 to play in the third. LA 48% from the floor. Jones the move. Look at him detonate and take it inside.
Oh, my.
Eddie Jones pulls off the impossible. What a play.
Boy, he penetrated himself into trouble and was creative enough to make the shot. Or athletic enough.
Jones has 8 all in this third quarter. With the foul called on Fisher.
I mean, what's the first step? Bam, gone. Too late. I mean, in one step, he was open, but then he had to create.
That was pretty.
Well, Derek Fisher just wasted a foul. I mean, he just walked up to Greg Foster and threw him an elbow. He was upset because Greg Foster got a clean pick on him.
Fisher is gone with 4 fouls. Van Exel is in. Ori limping off the floor. Blount has taken his place. So Blount, Bryant, Van Exel, Jones, and O'Neal. And a foul on Nick Van Exel. Right off the block, and he's been hit with his second foul as we send it over to Reggie Theus.
All right, Kevin, Robert Ori showing a lot of heart in this third quarter because he played a lot of minutes, but at halftime, that hip that he hurt in the second quarter really stiffened up, and you could see him dragging his leg on the floor, but as Doc said, finding a way to contribute, showing a lot of heart for the Lakers right now.
Yeah, he's been on championship teams, so I think he knows what it's all about.
Played for 2 down in Houston. Isley the miss, not the same Isley we saw in game 1. Blount with his 10th rebound. That's a career playoff high. Van Exel tries to create, finds Blount inside, and he sails in and is fouled underneath.
Well, he did create. He came off the pick and roll. And I'll tell you right now, if you went into this game and someone told you that both teams would run a lot of pick and rolls and the Lakers would run them better, they would think you were crazy. But right now, the Lakers are getting points off the pick and roll.
Hornacek with his 3rd foul. Here's former Chicago Bull, Corey Blount. You know, there was some talk earlier in the season, early March, that perhaps Del Harris might be gone. There was perhaps some team unrest. They had a meeting. Jerry West sent a letter. They then rattled off a 22-3 run. And here they are in the playoffs in the Western Conference Final.
Well, winning is like a deodorant. It covers up a lot of things that stink, Kevin, and that's what's going on.
6-0 run by Los Angeles, now leading by 7. Malone works on Blount. Shot clock showing 6. Foster again from outside. He's hit 2 long-distance third-quarter shots. Jones the rebound. Van Exel to Bryant, who is whacked up high by Foster defending, who picks up the foul. That's his 4th foul of the game.
The game is becoming helter-skelter-like, and if you're a Laker fan, you like that. The Lakers are doing a great job defensively, really taking Utah out of their offense, and when they do that, long rebounds and break. You get the Lakers out on the break with those athletes, good things will happen.
So here's Bryant, who flourished in the first half of the season, started in the All-Star game as a 19-year-old, as Foster rests with 4 fouls and 6 points in a starting role tonight. But then he fell way down the slide in the second half of the season.
Well, I think he started thinking he had to be Michael Jordan right away. And you know, every time he touched the ball, he tried to make something happen. He did that in his rookie year. He got away from that in the first half before the All-Star break, and he fell back in that bad pattern.
Isley looking for Malone. He'll work one-on-one with Blount and fire and nail. Nice shot by Karl Malone, and Utah to within 6.
You know, if you're Del Harris, you're thinking Blount had his hand up, he forced him into a tough shot, and he made the shot. Good defense.
Along with 21, screen by Shaq for Jones. He's had a great third quarter. A foul, loose ball foul called on Corey Blount.
There's only so much you can do guarding Karl Malone. He denies them, pushes them out away from the basket. Malone does a great ball swing, gives himself some space, and makes a shot. But that's fine defense.
And he's got 21. He had 29 in game 1.
You must crowd Karl Malone. You cannot allow him to get that ball swing off and then get the shot off.
Hornacek. Jones is there. Malone's got the pass. Blount is defending. Shot clock at 10. Russell into Bryant. And right to the rack. Rebound by Eldon Campbell. Van Exel. Kobe Bryant inside. Floats and can't get it to go. Rebound by Malone. Hornacek the other way. Lakers back on defense already. And a foul called on Blount.
Lakers are doing a nice job transition defense. Jazz are known for the long pass, getting quick shots. They've had zero basketball team that plays great defense, and that's why they win games. But look at tonight, Kevin.
Different story.
Different story. And you know the difference is the Lakers were never concerned about their offense. You know, you talk to every single guy, said our offense will be fine tonight. If we play defense, we will win the basketball game. Lakers are scoring and playing defense.
Jerry Sloan knows a thing or two about defense, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he does.
Played 10 years for the Chicago Bulls. Jersey was retired.
You know, the Jazz are an expression of Jerry Sloan.
Exactly.
They play exactly the way he played. Well, they're not that physical.
Sloan, who get pretty physical on a tractor. He farms about 1,000 acres in Middle Illinois. He's a farmer at heart, and that's where he goes to every offseason. Loves the Salt Lake area, but he goes back to Illinois in the Midwest, his roots.
Yeah, he said he wanted to get away from the big city life of Utah.
It's thriving. Yeah. 67-63, Lakers by 4. They've led most of the game by as many as 9, and by as few as 1 earlier in this quarter. Bryant playing pinball with the bodies defensively of Utah.
He has such a great first step. I mean, you can have 3 guys on their team. Nick Van Exel has it, Eddie Jones has it, and Corey Bryant. I mean, look at this. I mean, this is unbelievable.
And he's 19.
He's 19 years old.
He's still growing.
Growing in a lot of ways. You know, I think the mental growth for him is the key.
And do you like the progress you're seeing as you take a look at what players, bench players like Bryant have done tonight?
Well, you know, the progress tonight has been remarkable, going from the progress from game 1.
6-point game, 69-63. LA approaching 2 minutes to play here in the third. Isley, Hornacek, Ostertag, Malone, and Russell. Utah 5. 2 to play. Hornacek. To Malone, picked up by Blount, and a foul again on Los Angeles. Corey Blount. What do they call him, Van Exel?
You know, we talked to Jerry Sloan this morning, and we asked him about Jeff Hornacek, about his injury, and he said he's fine. I mean, that's Jerry Sloan's answer about everything when you ask him about a guy who was injured. But I'm telling you, Jeff Hornacek is not moving well. He is faster than what he's playing. He's not a great defensive player, but he usually does a pretty good job of staying in front of guys, and he usually is more involved offensively. And you can watch him. I think he's dragging his legs some.
Van Exel picks up the foul. Hornacek is 35. Malone, as you see the hobbling Jeff Hornacek, but he's walked like that all season. He walked back in November. Like
yeah, maybe that's 35-year-old legs. But I really do. I think something is bothering him, but you'll never get it from him. I can guarantee you that. You know, like Karl Malone said, if I'm out on the floor, then I'm healthy.
This is game 2 of the Western Conference Finals. Los Angeles losing by 35 in game 1, leading by 4. Van Exel right down the lane. Rebound by Russell off to Isley. Lakers back on defense well. Russell the fake on Bryant. Over to Hornacek. Little fake on Jones. And ride the rough shot inside. Foul. Bryant picked it up.
You can be as slow as you want to be. When you have a great jump shot, pump fake, you'll get open. Now you can see Greg Ostertag. He's really been involved. He's had a nice game. Now when you look at the stat sheet tomorrow, it won't really show it. But he's been involved. He's been active, and that's all Jerry Sloan wants him to do is be active, alter shots.
Hornacek tonight has 6. They had 1 point and 4 turnovers in game 1.
And they won.
And they won.
Exactly.
Big. Stockton and Malone have ruled the Jazz game tonight. Everybody else has kind of been watching.
Well, I think Stockton understands Jeff Hornacek is not scoring points right now. We need one more score, and I have to be it.
It's a 2-point game. Late third quarter. Bryant guarded by Russell. Into Campbell, back to Kobe, and a charge called on Los Angeles.
You can see that play developing the whole way. That was a turnover waiting to happen, and it happened. There was absolutely no spacing on that play.
Eldon Campbell picks up his first foul.
It was helter-skelter, and it was favoring the Lakers. Now all of a sudden the game has gone to a snail's pace. Jazz like that pace.
Isley, Malone over Blount. Rebound by Jones. The Lakers would love to run. 60 seconds left in the third.
One thing the Lakers aren't doing, those jump shots that Karl Malone are taking are about a step further out than the shots he was taking in the first half and in game one.
Van Exel. Here's Campbell with Ostertag there. Into Jones. Slamming try by Campbell won't go. Here comes Isley. Hornacek lost it, got it, up and down.
That was great because he was going to make the pass first.
Utah has come back to tie at 69. Jones fouled by Russell.
Well, I think he can do that all day. Kobe Bryant, Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel can force fouls. I mean, look at this play. Jeff Hornacek was going to pass this. He saw he didn't have it, had the consciousness to bring it down, put it on the floor, and score. Most players, once they commit and turn the ball over.
LA back on top. Utah has not led since 11-9 back in the first quarter to Reggie Theus.
Hey, Jerry Sloan was talking about to his team, hey, listen, we want to run if we have a layup, just like that last play. If we don't, we got to run clock. We got to bring it out and get this game back into our tempo. And, Doc, that's what's happening in this quarter.
Yeah, you can see it. First, Lakers are running now. Everybody's playing half court. Lakers playing half court without Shaq is not a good thing.
Hornacek got it inside to Malone, who was fouled by Corey Blount. That's number 5 on Blount.
But that really will not concern Dale Harris a whole bunch. He might keep him in. You know, if he fouls out, you still have Shaq sitting over there. You have Robert Horry, though he's a little banged up.
Malone once again at the free throw line, and O'Neal has been on that bench. A good part of this third quarter is Rick Fox will re-enter the game.
Yeah, but they're still up by 2.
Here's Malone.
You know, they talk about hack a Shaq. They're going to karate Carl pretty soon because he is not making free throws.
The Jiu-Jitsu Jordan.
Yeah, exactly. I wasn't clever enough to figure out anything that rhymes with Carl or Malone, so.
You did a good job. I liked it. It was good. Lakers by 2.
Send in suggestions, please.
Yeah, we need them. It's quiet in this place when one of their guys up there shooting free throws. They can be as loud as any building in the NBA, but boy, they can turn it off just like that.
I've always thought as a home player, that bothered me more. I want the noise. When it's quiet, that means it's a big shot.
Van Exel trying to get a big shot. And it would have been good had it gone, and he gave it a try, but the
Shaquille O'Neal had a long break in the third quarter.
Did. On the bench for over 4.5 minutes.
Yet they still have the lead.
Van Exel, Fox, Bryant, Horry, and here's Shaq. Horry's playing on a bum leg, bad hip. Fox outside, into Shaq, bullied by Carr, and he's still got the sweet hook on the turnaround.
And he turned around after he made the shot and looked at the official and said, listen, I made the shot, but he's still pushing.
Lakers by 3. Karl Malone over Horry. Rattling it in is Karl Malone. And now tonight he's got 26.
If I'm the Jazz, I'm going wherever Robert Horry is. I mean, he's running out there like he's running on one leg, but he's still out there. Like Reggie Theus said, he's a gamer.
Trying to set a screen for Van Exel. There's Bryant to Fox. Shot clock at 10. Back into Shaq. And a travel on O'Neal. That hip-hop step that he makes inside. First of all, publicized by George Karl at Seattle, and something that I'm sure Del Harris is afraid that's going to get more notice as the playoffs go on.
Yeah, but I think one of the things that happened there, when he put the ball on the floor and committed to his move, he turned around, and there was 3 guys converging on him. I think he had to pick it up about a half a step earlier than he wanted to.
And that's a problem. He didn't know if he's going to have 1 guy or 3 guys on him from play to play. Carr. Rebound by Shaq.
See, in game 1, all those shots were going in. They're getting the same shots. They're just not making them.
1-point game. Fox picked up by Chris Morris. Shot clock at 10. Into Shaq. Outside. Here comes Carr as Shaq tries to plow and does for 2.
He did plow. And right on top of Antoine Carr's head was an elbow. Not intentional, but it was an elbow.
What do you say about the elbows? What Shaq say? They're coming up tonight. They're coming up in game 2.
Well, I think his play is what's coming up. Shaq is putting it on him right now. First, he used power, and this is a little finesse. I really didn't see the hit.
Mike Dunleavy of the Portland Trailblazers said it best. He said, when Shaq goes up and the Lakers are flying, cover your heads and duck. Utah just called a 20-second timeout, and they got Carr back, Hale, and Hardy, and 10.5 to play in the game. Lakers by 3. Isley in with Anderson, Carr, Russell. Loans on the bench. Morris is in. Outside Anderson. Touch pass to Russell. Doubled, and Fox swats it away. And a foul call on Horry.
But Horry was there. You know what he's doing? He understands that he can't jump right now, so he's trying to put his body in position to draw offensive fouls. Both teams right now, Kevin, are struggling offensively. And so what the Lakers have decided to do the last 3 times down the court, they're going to their go-to guy. They understand their offense is struggling. Go to Shaq. Make the Lakers or make the Jazz stop him.
Utah climbs to within 2 to Reggie Theus.
Hey, guys, Del Harris was talking about, hey, with Shaq back in the game, let's get back to our game of posting and running. In the 3rd quarter, we only got the ball inside 7 times. They've got the ball to Shaq the last 3 or 4 times. Lakers getting back into their game.
Yeah, they're going to the big go-to guy, Reggie. I think that's pretty smart, especially when your offense is struggling. Go to a guy that you know will at least get a good shot off.
And there's no question. And then what happens when you get that in the inside game, your defense tightens up and you get back into your running game, Doc.
An Axel for 3. Rebound by Isley. Took a big bounce. Utah the other way. Lakers back on defense. Isley could not find an open soul. He hits Anderson here. Into traffic. Out to Morris. Working on Bryant. Bryant is down. Morris is free.
He was free, but not really. Shaq was a-coming.
Utah's got their first lead since the 1st quarter, up 76-75. Into Shaq. Carr is there. Making a move is Shaq and a foul. It's on Antoine Carr.
See, this game right now is turning into the 2nd quarter of game 1. Karl Malone, John Stockton sitting on the bench, yet the Jazz are making a run. You would assume that the Lakers would dominate on the boards. They're really not.
Well, when you know that Shaq may think about playing in the NFL, you pull that cap down if you're Steve Young.
Yeah, and put your head
between your legs, baby.
I agree.
And hold on for dear life. Steve Young, the quarterback, San Francisco, legendary BYU quarterback, makes his off-season home here in the Salt Lake area. 4 fouls on Carr. There's Steve again.
He's had his bell rung quite a bit in the last couple of years, I tell you.
Enough to warrant a lot of concern from his agent Lee Steinberg and others. The post-concussion syndrome. Bryant, the move, the flight, inside, Clyden, Carr, the rebound.
Yeah, but he missed a wide-open Robert Horry. You got to make that pass.
Brandon Anderson, but what a tremendous pass by Brian Russell.
So you can see the negative effect. When Robert Horry was taking it out of bounds, he was still looking at Kobe Bryant. You have to hit the open guys.
There's a foul, and it's called on Los Angeles.
Yeah, Del Harris has to get him out. You know, right now, composure.
Bryant will take a rest.
I mean, I want you to take a look at this right now. Watch Robert Horry. He just can't make it up the court. He is really struggling.
He's the Willis Reed of the 90s, right? That's how Reed played, and they won a championship in New York. Different circumstances, but maybe the same kind of severity. Morris for three. Rebound by Van Exel. Picked up by Isley, a fresh 24 for Utah.
See, now it's the Lakers who are complaining. For 3 quarters, it's been the Jazz, and you can see the Lakers getting a little frustrated right here.
Morris with Van Exel there. Size advantage for Morris. Timeout, Los Angeles.
Ball game. Take a look here at Robert Horry. Now he's out here struggling. Here wide open. Look at him. Wide open. Kobe Bryant looks, does not pass him the ball. You can see Horry gets a little bit upset at that. Now when your leg is hurting, you have a wide open shot and you don't get it. You don't run down court.
Utah by 5. They're on a 10-2 spree over the last 3 minutes. Shaq had it knocked away by Carr, out of bounds, off of Los Angeles. Under 8 to play.
For 3 quarters, the Lakers have matched Utah's intensity. Right now, it's all Utah.
Here's Malone dancing on O'Neal. Count it for 2. Karl Malone.
What a shot. You are supposed to take jump shots on balance. That is no balance, but he knew it was in right when it left his hands. This is the moment of truth right now for the Lakers.
And Shaquille O'Neal. The Lakers are reeling. Utah's got their biggest lead, 83-75. A foul on Isley.
But you know, Reggie Theus hit on it early. He made the point. You could see tempo changing. Half-court offense. The Jazz are still running. Now it's all power, but no running for the Lakers. I think they want a mix of both.
7.5 to play here in the 4th. Van Exel and Isley. Fox outside. Good pass into O'Neal. Double, tripled out to Van Exel. Slithering inside, looking for Horry, out of bounds. Another Laker turnover.
See, another missed opportunity. On that one, Eddie Jones is wide open. What's happening with the Lakers right now? Everybody is trying to be the hero instead of just playing basketball.
LA's got 4 fourth-quarter turnovers. Malone again. Over Shaq. Rebound by Horry. Saved by Russell. A loose ball foul called on Utah and Chris Morris.
Robert Horry putting his body on Chris Morris. It's amazing watching him play. I mean, he's barely moving, yet he's still having an effect on his game, and a positive one.
Stockton comes in for Isley. So it's Stockton, Morris, Anderson, Malone, and Brian Russell for Utah. Van Exel, Horry setting screens on one leg. Into Shaq. Boy, there was a wild-looking hit inside. Russell whacks Horry.
I'm laughing because Brian Russell just leveled him. And then he looked at the ref and said, why would you call that foul on me? But that's the reason. The guy's on the floor. It's a physical game, and you like that. It's a clean game, and you like that.
Robert Horry out of Alabama. He has not scored tonight, which is a far cry from his play against Seattle, and he stays scoreless.
I mean, this is some bang basketball right here. You like it.
Welcome to the playoffs. 83-75 Utah. Horry again. His first point tonight. Number 7 to play. Stockton working on Van Exel, Malone, and O'Neal going head-to-head. Stockton around the screen. Malone from outside, thought about it, dances into O'Neal, takes it to the rack. Rebound by Fox. LA's got numbers, and it's Horry knocked away. Russell the other way. Shaq 4-on-1. Into Karl Malone. Lakers. 20-second timeout, Los Angeles.
I mean, right now, you know, they talked about matching intensity, the little things. The Utah Jazz are doing all the little things. They're putting their bodies in front of people. They're causing turnovers, and they're converting on fast break layups.
Karl Malone tonight with 29, make it 31, and fast break points have benefited Malone's game.
Yeah, it really has. And that's a little misleading. It's 18-2, but the Lakers have been out and running. They've been getting into their offense quickly. They have not done that in the fourth quarter. Thus, that's why they're losing in this game.
Malone and Utah enjoying their biggest lead tonight, 85-76, 6:15 to play in the fourth. Van Exel and Stockton. Long and Fox around Anderson, outside Jones for three. Big shot.
Big shot and good, patient ball movement.
Which has not always been the case tonight for LA.
Well, at least down the stretch. You know, I think they played almost a perfect game up until about 6 minutes ago.
Stockton down the lane. Anderson trying to finish. Jones got a hand on it. Plum knocks it back to Jones. Stockton goes tumbling. Back to Van Exel. Screen by Plum, who is surprised to get it back from Van Exel. Jones for three. Rebound by Russell.
Boy, he had it.
5.5 to play in the game.
Eddie Jones had a nice look at the basket.
Stockton breaks second and third quarters. That's a foul called on Van Exel, who got a tee in game one.
Don't get one now. You like Steve Jabbie because he could have teed him up. And you can see why. He's going to say what he's saying right there is John Stockton is pushing off. He's pushing him into the screen. Watch that inside arm. Stockton is really good at doing that, and he does it. But he gets away with it because he's pretty good at it.
He has a point. 5 to play in the game. Stockton right off the baseline.
Oh, no. There were 3 Lakers with their back to the basketball. You have to see the ball and man.
Fox for three, right between the eyes.
2 big shots. Eddie Jones 3, Rick Fox 3. The moment of truth is here, and the Lakers are answering it. They are not going away.
Down by 5 moments ago, trailing by 9. 4.5 to play. Malone left open to shoot. Rebound, claimed inside. Anderson comes out of the pass.
Little things. Gut plays. If you're going to win on the road, you have to come up with those plays.
Shaq into Malone. Leans. What a wonderful nimble move by Shaquille O'Neal.
We talk about his power, but that was great footwork, great up and under. Kevin McCallish.
You got it. Lakers to within 5 again. Doubled is Stockton, looking for Malone off the knee of Fisher, and Ricochet is out of bounds. 10 to shoot.
You watch this drive by John Stockton. I mean, that, you see Del Harris at the top of your screen. He knew it right when Stockton left. Wow.
Stockton, tapped by Jones, retreat by Anderson, turned over to Jones. And it's a foul called on Utah.
There was no such thing of a soft foul.
Malone's got 2.
And take Shannon Anderson out. I mean, this is the little guy in the pack, yet he comes out with the ball with Corey Blunt, Shaq, and Fox standing right there.
Utah tonight has turned it over 16 times. That is the most this year in the playoffs. But when it's counted here in the fourth quarter, LA 5 turnovers, And the Utah Jazz, Doc, a meager 1.
Yeah, and again, we keep talking about the little things. Before the game, Dale Harris was saying this has nothing to do with X and O's anymore. It's who does the hustle plays, who gets the loose balls and the rebounds. Shannon Anderson is always on the spot. 11 rebounds in game 1, 3 tonight, but what a big one that last one was.
15 for Jones, who has scored since the beginning of the third quarter on. It's a 3-point game.
Eddie Jones is keeping the Lakers in this game.
Stockton held by Fisher. And a foul called on Fisher. Put the cuffs on Stockton.
And you can see Dale Harris over on the sidelines pointing to his head saying, think. You cannot allow John Stockton to beat you off the dribble. Keep him in front of you.
Stockton, normally a great free throw shooter, just 69% in the playoffs. And his first offering is down. Well, Turner Sports continues to bring you great coverage of the NBA playoffs. Tomorrow night, Dick Stockton, Hubie Brown, the United Center, Game 2 on TNT, Pacers and Bulls. And Friday on TNT, Game 3, 9:30 Eastern, Utah against the Lakers. NBA playoffs on TNT. Stockton has trouble at the stripe.
Yeah, and you know, you talked about game plan going into this game. What the Jazz are trying to do is not only put Shaq on the line, but to put the Lakers. They're a poor free throw shooting group, not just Shaq, but it's the Jazz who are missing free throws tonight, along with the Lakers.
Yeah, Jones on the perimeter works on 36-year-old Jeff Hornacek. Into Shaq, dances. He hits it again. That time hopping on 1 foot off balance. He's 315 pounds and moves like a point guard.
How about this from this young Laker team? They took a hit that knocks most teams out, yet they're only 2 points down.
Stockton inside. Russell has it. Shot clock at 8. Stockton again. Jones is there. Shot clock at 6. Hornacek douses Fisher. Puts it up on the fly. Rebound by Jones. Here comes Los Angeles. Corey Blount just rode right over Stockton, and he's gone with his 6th personal of the game.
And not only is he gone, now Dale Harris has to make a decision. Do I bring Robert Horry in, who was struggling when he was warm? Now he has to come in cold. Bad foul. It should be in, but he has not performed. So Daryl Harris has been forced to go small because Robert Horry is hurting and Campbell is struggling.
Stockton around Van Exel, out to Karl Malone. 33 for Karl Malone.
And this is why, because now you have Shaq guarding Malone. They're going to play pick and roll, and Karl Malone will get wide open jump shots.
Jones trying to create. Russell is there. There's a foul, and Russell picks it up.
See, and check the pick and roll out here. Involve Shaquille O'Neal. He always likes going to the bucket. Not enough time to get back to Karl Malone. He's going to get that shot all night for the rest of the game.
There's Eddie Jones, a late bloomer in a lot of people's eyes, played at Temple, and a guy who shies away from the spotlight. But tonight he is firmly in the spotlight.
Well, I think he's taken a step forward this year, Eddie Jones. The only knock, in my opinion, towards Eddie Jones is that he has struggled in the playoffs. He has answered all critics.
Stop it. 4-point Utah lead.
Pick and roll. That time they tried to put Rick Fox on Karl Malone. They did that because they want someone to close out on Karl Malone. The problem, Malone's able to get a good pick.
Fisher works on Malone. Shaq inside. Carr is there. Back out to Fisher. Little two-man game with Shaq. Doubled quickly. Fisher's open because Stockton went to double Shaq, and it pays dividends for Los Angeles.
Bill Walton's going crazy right now because he's saying the best passing big man in the game, and he is. He is really passing the basketball.
Lakers down by 2. Here comes Stockton again. Malone, the screen, knocked away by Fisher.
Foul on Karl Malone.
And a foul on Malone.
Yes.
The pick and roll working to perfection on this point.
Yeah, the problem with putting a smaller guy on Karl Malone, that means nobody on Karl Malone, and he is able to have a clear path in setting picks. Look at this pass coming. I mean, this is a one-hand bullet. And he had to throw it because Jeff Hornacek was on his way.
Lakers tonight from the free throw line, 69%. Timeout situation right there. Plenty on either side.
Yeah, timeouts aren't a problem. Free throws will be a problem.
For the tie. Rebound Russell.
Yeah, that's a big free throw. Derek Fisher was 1 for 4 in game 1 from the foul line. This is where you worry about the Lakers because down the stretch, guys are going to go to the foul line.
Stockton approaching a minute to play in regulation. Carr, look how open he is. Oh, what a shot by Carr.
They're involving Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal switched off of Karl Malone, went to Antoine Carr. Jerry Sloan said, well, in that case, run the pick and roll with Antoine Carr.
Antoine Carr
recording. Shaquille O'Neal has to guard Karl Malone. Jerry Sloan has decided we're going pick and roll whoever Shaq guards because he can't get out and guard the shooter. They switch. They put Antoine Carr. He gets the wide open shot. Whoever O'Neal guards, Utah is using in the pick and roll.
Sometimes you get stuck in that no man's land. You guard the perimeter, you take your guy down low, and then he caught in between, and then you're done.
Yeah, and the difference is when you had the other guys in, they had the quickness to get out there. You know, sometimes Shaq has the quickness, but big guys aren't used to coming outside of the paint.
Like a guard might be, shuttling back and forth. Less than a minute to play. Utah leads by 3. Into Shaq. Not getting the slam dunks like he was before. Carr has done a nice job on Shaquille O'Neal.
Good pickup, Kevin. I think Antoine Carr has done the best job on Shaquille O'Neal in this game.
Half minute to play. Utah with a 3-point lead. Carr the screen. Stockton, Carr, Hornacek. He'll float, rejected by O'Neal and a whistle. This one's on Rick Fox. Fox with his 4th.
Well, you can see it here, but I tell you what. Let's take a look. And he did hit him on the head, but with 24 seconds left in a 3-point game, with all the banging going on tonight, you got to let that one go.
Hornacek gets his first. Utah leads by 4, 97-93. And those faces of the Los Angeles Lakers tell their story in a game they felt they had to win.
Well, see, I disagree with that. I think the team that had to win, and I think you would agree with that, is Utah. The Lakers are going home. All they've done is lost the first 2 games. Now, if they lose this game, they understand they still have 2 more shots at winning in Utah.
Utah has caught a wave, and they're riding it hard. Malone and Shaquille O'Neal.
Well, right now, the Lakers want to get a quick shot. They would love a 3, but if not, they want a quick bucket. 2 is fine for them, and then a quick foul.
Tapped in by Jones on the Van Exel miss. 3-point game, foul called on Fox.
So they got exactly what they wanted. The Lakers wanted to come out, get a quick bucket, a quick foul, and hope now. And it's always tough when you get in position where you have to hope. Now they got exactly what they want. Van Exel drive. Jones right on the spot with the tip.
Moments ago, I said that Los Angeles felt this was a must game. Del Harris said we got to win tonight, game 2. You disagree?
No, I do. I don't think they have to win game 2. I've always had a problem when you hear a team in the second game in the playoffs say they have to win. So what happens if you lose? Do you go home? No, all the Lakers have to do is go to L.A. and hold serve, and then come here game 5 and hope for a win. But right now, they got exactly what they wanted. They got a miss from John Stockton.
There's 4 3-point shots tonight hit by Los Angeles. Here's O'Neal up high. Jones picked up by Hornacek.
See, they went for the 3. I think that is real smart.
Fox the miss. Rebound Fox. Another 3. Another miss. Russell's got it. Utah is going to lead the series 2 games to 0.